I'm Howard Hale. Thanks for joining me for the Cattleman's Corner. With me, Scott Loving. Loving Farms in central Kansas. They raise registered Shorthorns. Tell us about your Shorthorn cattle operation there and how long it's been in existence. Will you, Scott?
My dad, Marty, we farm and ranch together now. He and his father, Jack, started it back in the late 50s with a small group of Shorthorns and even some Hereford cattle, and they liked what the Shorthorns brought to the operation and really focused on that and built that to what it is today. We've got about 300 Shorthorn or Shorthorn-influenced cows in the operation, and I say Shorthorn influence. We've incorporated black Angus cattle and also red Angus cattle into some composites just to fit a little different market than maybe the traditional Shorthorn bulls are going into. Market about 70 to 75 bulls a year and a fair number of replacement heifers off the farm as well through our yearly bull sale the first Saturday in March every year.
So you produce not only purebred Shorthorn bulls but some hybrid bulls.
That's correct. Yeah, for about the last 20 years, we've been adding in. We started with Angus and worked a small portion of those in. Really, we're started out to produce just half-blood bulls for a group of customers, and that built itself into pretty solid demand for those females as well. And as we've continued to build that, we've started to work towards a little more of a hybrid, putting those F1 crosses back on each other, and then developed a little more of a hybrid composite, which really has become very popular. We probably sell more of those bulls a year than we do the purebred bulls, and it's really opened some avenues for Shorthorn bulls that probably weren't there at the time. They just were the Shorthorn cattle didn't have the popularity they had back in the the 60s and the 70s, and I think it's made better cattle. It's made more competitive type cattle in terms of what the industry is asking for. But in saying that, this year our top group of bulls that sold in terms of sales were actually our purebred Shorthorn bulls. So I think it's opened some avenues and opened some eyes to the Shorthorn cattle.
What are the qualities that the Shorthorn have that have made you stick with them for, oh gosh, we're talking about over 70 years now?
I think probably the core strength of the Shorthorn breed is their maternal ability. Probably stands out as much as anything. But really the carcass quality is very good. With quality grade has been very good without a lot of breeding for quality grade. So we haven't had to chase that trait as much as maybe some of the other breeds have had, and some of the things that have gone along with that. But the one thing that we've really started to look at with the Shorthorn breed is feed efficiency, and it's something that we've known that they've had we retain ownership on all the steers, plus buy some of our bull customers' steers back and feed them out. And we know that they've had an edge in the commercial feedlot in terms of feed efficiency, and now we've, over the last 5 years, really gotten intense on measuring and starting to make some breeding decisions based on feed efficiency, and we've really changed focus a little bit. But I think it's a very strong suit for the Shorthorn breed. So you've got maternal ability, carcass quality, and feed efficiency, and I think it's something that they've had for generations, and we probably just didn't have good ways to quantify and build upon that. And so I think they bring a lot to the industry that maybe some other breeds do well in hybrid situations, and I think the Shorthorns probably just add to that.
There's a real future then for the Shorthorn in this crossbreeding program, that there's a lot that they can add to some of the current cattle?
Yeah, I think that we're going to see them become a more of a component breed in these hybrid systems, just maybe bringing some maternal efficiency and reproductive efficiency back, into some of these more high-performance hybrids or some of these more carcass-focused cattle. You're going to see some things come from the Shorthorn breed, and not just on the maternal end, but I think they're going to bring the feed efficiency, just another component piece. And I think it's a matter of really getting the data out there on the cattle. The Shorthorn breed is not a big breed. I think we're around 15,000 registrations a year. There's only 7 or 8 sizable bull sales across the country for Shorthorn bulls, and so the market isn't huge, and so we're not grabbing a lot of attention at this point. But I think it's something that, as you look across bull sales, I know we had one of the best sales we've ever had, and I think every Shorthorn operation that has a bull sale could say that this year. And so there's the popularity of the breed is growing, I think, every day, and it's and I think it's what we're talking about here, that they're kind of that component that fits really well in these 2-breed commercial operations, or even 3-breed commercial operations are looking for another component.
Let's talk about the size of cattle that you're trying to produce.
We're trying to stay very middle of the road in terms of size of cows. We weigh cattle and weigh the cow herd every year, and so we kind of are able to chart and track that. We know that we'll run about a 1,350-pound cow. We kind of shoot for that 5.5 frame cow. Kind of fits our western Kansas environment, and with a lot of buffalo grass here, and so big high growth, high maintenance cows aren't going to work. And I think that kind of goes back again and speaks to the feed efficiency on these cows, that you keep them in that optimum size, and they're going to be a lot more efficient. And I think that's been a focus of the Shorthorn breed in general, is to not maybe chase these high performance traits that kind of gets outside the suit of what Shorthorn cattle are, and I think that it depends on where in the country you're at. You can get some size differences, but for out here, 5.5 frame works really well, and it complements the commercial cows that are in the area.
For the people who aren't familiar, is the Shorthorn a polled or a horned breed?
You get that question a lot, and there's been a pretty strong push over the last 30 years, 40 years probably, to just basically remove the horns. We won't sell a horned bull. We won't keep a horned heifer and put back into the our operation. Don't like to see skurs or horns, either one. I like a smooth pulled head. They don't. Most of our customers are going to market through the sale barn and don't want that as a something on the cattle. And so we're pretty cognizant about making sure the bulls we use and the cows that we have in the operation are solidly pulled. And I think that's probably a pretty universal focus across the country. I know, I can't think of an operation that, probably has more than just a handful of horned cows, if any. And so it's a trait that's it's in our name, but it's not something that's prevalent anymore.
Do you sell strictly bulls and replacement females, or do you sell some semen as well?
We market semen on all of our herd sires, and that's all marketed through our website. We don't have them in bull studs, but we've got an online store on our website at lovingfarms.com that has all of our sires represented and can be ordered. We AI a fair percentage of our cows, and we've got several customers that use our bulls, and so we sell a fair amount of semen every year on our Shorthorn bulls. In the central part of the state there, we're right around Great Bend, a lot of small pastures, mostly sand grass pastures, and so that's where we winter at. We winter on those grass pastures, and we plant a fair amount of rye pasture. Most of the fall cows, we both got a fall and spring calving herd, and the fall cows, about as soon as they get calved out, go out on rye pasture that we've drilled into corn stalks or soybean stubble, and they'll remain on that all the way through weaning time around the 1st of April. And the spring cows will be on it in the fall, and then we'll bring them in and calve on that grass, that sand grass there at home. And then we come up, we've got a farm and ranch up west of Hayes that's mostly buffalo grass, rocky hillside, not much good for farming, and it's good native buffalo grass. And we run, the entire operation comes up here in the summertime, and it's about 13, 14 acres per pair is kind of how we do that, and a lot of pond water and good native grass, and it really supports cattle well.
Do any rotational grazing?
We don't. It's all strictly big pasture. We probably underutilize it because of the way our operation's set up with, in a purebred deal, we'll run 45 to 50 pairs with one, on a section of grass, and then once the bulls are pulled, then we turn everybody together and kind of, we do, I guess it would be somewhat considered rotational grazing, move them through the pastures as a bigger group and try to utilize the grass a little better, but not really to speak of what most people think of rotational grazing.
What kind of a year has it been for the grass pastures?
Grass is in really good condition. We had really strong summer rains last July and August, and really brought a lot of grass on late, and we were able to utilize everything. And so we started out with kind of a surplus of dry grass, and then May was cool but really wet. We were probably twice the normal rainfall in May and early June here, and so between the rainfall and the dry grass left over, once the sun did come out and we got some warm weather, the grass has taken off, and I think we've got probably shaped up one of the nicest grazing seasons we're going to have. The calves look like they've really done well, and the cows are in great shape, and you know that even if it doesn't rain a lot the rest of the summer, we've got a lot of forage production.
Well, Scott, thanks a lot for taking the time to talk to us. I really appreciate it, and we'll talk to you again on down the road. Scott Loving Farms, purebred Shorthorn producers. Well, thanks for joining us. May God bless, and you come back and join us again, won't you? I'm Howard Hale.